Andreas, how do you see Brexit playing out? We are a little bit clueless at the moment as exactly what kind of Brexit the government really wants. So how difficult is it for an investor to navigate this kind of uncertain environment?
I think it's relatively challenging, but we've adopted a wait-and-see policy. We've taken the view that there's everything to play for, and fortunately this election result sort of reinforces that view, because there needs to be a broader cross-party consensus in the UK now on the terms of Brexit. To give you an example, our business, since the Brexit vote in the UK, has grown very significantly. We had 150 employees in the UK a bit over a year ago. We're now at 350. So we're taking a constructive perspective on this, and we'll hope for the best.
What do you measure it with? Is it pound? Is it gilt? Is there an indicator out there that you can actually say, instead of I guess, reading blow by blow what happens in negotiations, what do you look at from the market?
Sterling is definitely an important indicator. I mean, ultimately, the bonds would be as well, gilts would be as well, but since the central banks are in charge of what happens there, I think it's not as good as an indicator, but as sterling is. But I take the view that sterling has probably bottomed out. Yeah. Over the medium term, it should rise.
Now let's look at sterling right now. This is a classic chart. I've really never done this before on Bloomberg Surveillance, but we're going to do it now. This is a point and figure chart which goes back to the way charts were done in the 19th century, back to 1880, and this is an absolutely textbook sterling high pull top. Here's Brexit, the late June of last year. You've got a classic high pull here. You got another one that just formed down here. And I'll tell you, Andreas, within the mathematics of point and figure charts, it is short, short, short. Do you detect that there is a one-way bet on short sterling?
I don't know if it's one way, but certainly there is a significant bet out there, and I think a lot of people, I think rightly, are very concerned around the outcome of Brexit. But you know, that's a positive to some degree, because clearly politicians are more focused on this now. They see the damage being done to sterling, and therefore, you know, trying to do everything possible to mitigate the impact. I think, for example, the discussions around Brexit that have started yesterday, focusing on what happens to the millions of EU citizens in the UK and vice versa, UK citizens in Europe, I think is an indication that politicians have understood that the uncertainty that's impacting people is ultimately, in the short term, damaging to the economy. Therefore, they need to fix that first.